Dylan Metrano likes the Red Hand Files, Nick Cave's sublime and moving Ask Me Anything email newsletter. He would trade every app and website for his favorite extinct magazines and newspapers. Dylan also dislikes it when there are two separate sources of music playing simultaneously, often while sitting at the edge of a room in a restaurant. Now, Mr. Dylan cuts up colorful pieces of paper to resemble animals, people, and places. He's been playing in this band, Tiger Saw, since he was 4 years old. For a while, he lived on an island where his wife was a teacher in a one-room schoolhouse with only a few students. Dylan Metrano is a chocolatier, not a chocolate maker. A chocolate maker is someone who makes chocolate from the bean. Have you ever seen a cocoa bean? They're kind of weird.
Alrighty, welcome to Burst and Bloom Presents. I'm here with the Burst and Bloom Records co-founder Dylan Metrano of the band Tiger Saw and some other bands. Tiny Fires you were in, played with Sid Lindner for a while.
Cape Snow,
that's a band.
Yeah.
Mark McElroy had to remind me of Cape Snow being a band as well. Thanks for being here and being down for an interview.
My pleasure.
Tell me about the long, arduous journey of Tiger Saw.
Sure, yeah. So, in 1998, I moved to Los Angeles.
And we were all 12, right?
Yeah, a while ago.
Yeah.
And I moved out there with my previous band, Hamlet Idiot, and that band dissolved pretty much as soon as we got out there. And I was working at a bookstore in LA and making very little money, and I kind of spent all my money and decided I needed to move back to Newburyport, Massachusetts.
LA will crush a guy.
It did, unfortunately. I love it so much there now.
Yeah.
But it was tough. It was a tough existence. So I decided to move back to Newburyport and start a new band, which I wanted to be kind of the opposite of what I had been doing with my really noisy rock band, Hamlet Idiot. And I was very inspired at the time by the band Low and by Palace Music or Will and Bonnie Prince Billy and Galaxy 500 and this sort of slowcore scene that was pretty big at the time in my world.
It was a wave.
Yeah. And I just wanted to make quiet music. That was the idea. So I wrote a bunch of songs and demoed them on my 4-track in LA. And I sent some cassettes out to some friends back in Newburyport who I was hoping to recruit into the band. And I moved back in 1999 to Newburyport and quickly put together a band. And I asked Juliet Nelson and eventually Matt Kulick, J.R. Gallagher, and Jake Trussell rounded out what would become like the what I call the classic lineup now.
Nice, yeah. Those were the early days. Speaking of classic lineups, you've had lots of folks coming in and out. I think there's been 827 previous Tiger Saw members. What is that like, having kind of a constant rotation of band members?
Well, part of it is by design and part of it is not.
People just bug you and just kick their ass to the curb?
There's been very little of that, but mostly it's hard to keep a band together, and It's been 25 years that this band has been a thing. And people come and go, but partially I like to play with new people and see how that affects the sound and can mix things up. And Tiger Saw has had a lot of different sounds over the years.
Yeah, why so many sounds?
Because there's so many sounds to choose from. I love a lot of different kinds of things, and I can't imagine just staying tied to that initial slowcore sound for half of my life, right. And just trying to replicate that over and over again. So over the course of 9 albums, in 25 years, we've made, the slowcore music. We've made music that's more R&B or funk influenced, and we've made country music, and we've done, stuff with choirs and string sections and horns.
The metal period.
Yeah, that's still to come. But yeah, I love a lot of different kinds of music. That's the simple answer is why limit yourself to anything.
Mm-hmm.
And I've always been inspired by other musicians who don't limit themselves in that way and will just, go where the muse takes them.
Yeah. And you do different kinds of art. You're a visual artist. You do paper cutting.
Mm-hmm.
That's been sometimes a part of your own work, and you've designed album covers and book covers and, play posters, that kind of thing.
Yeah, lots of posters.
How does that all inform your work or express you as a person?
I don't know how much the music and the artwork, visual artwork, are tied in together inherently, but I do like to make a lot of event posters for things that I'm doing or my friends are doing. We
appreciate it.
Yeah.
Just so you know.
I mean, I've always been drawn to commercial art, like posters and book covers and stuff like that. I think it's a really great way to have your art reach a lot of people and have it be accessible. So I'm always happiest when my art finds its way to, represent something else like that or pair up with something, and I really like that. But I've been doing paper cutting art just about as long as I've been doing Tiger Saw. I think they started around the same time.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty much self-taught with both music and visual art as well.
Nice. Yeah, I know you just had a gallery show, and that was a big collaboration. Mm-hmm. And how is collaborating for you? What is that like to work with others musically or visually?
Sure. Well, the art show you're speaking of is called Knife versus Scissors, and it's a collaboration with my friend Rebecca Fitzpatrick.
Which wins, just out of curiosity?
Depends who you ask, I guess.
Okay.
But Rebecca is a Monhegan Island-based artist, and Monhegan is an island 10 miles off the coast of Maine, where I used to live. And she is a collage artist, so we had a mail project where we would mail each other scraps of things. She would cut things out of magazines and send them to me, and I would have pieces of paper cutting art that I made maybe for a poster or something that was basically just like a leftover piece of something, and we would send them to each other and then we would combine them.
Mm-hmm.
So the art is really a fun show that looks a lot like both of our artworks, but also looks like something new because it's a combination of both. And to speak about collaborative music, I've always found 100% of the time that the music I make is just strengthened by playing with other people.
Yeah.
And I always would rather play with other people than to play solo.
Yeah. So the new album, Card Tricks for the Lovesick, it's got a couple different singers taking on lead vocals.
Yeah.
What was the push for that to happen?
Well, that's something we've done a few times over the years, and I think I was sort of inspired originally by the Songs Ohio record, Magnolia Electric Company, where there is Jason Molino is the singer in that band, but he had two other singers sing lead on two songs on that album, and it just sort of opened my mind to that possibility of like, I don't have to be the singer on every song. If there's a better voice for it, you should just have them do it.
Yeah, what's it like hearing your words and your melodies sung by someone else?
I mean, it's great. In some ways, I would rather just have that be the way it is all the time.
Just a rotating cast of lead singers for your songs.
They're just such great singers and such great voices. I mean, for this new album, Card Tricks, we've got Lena Gabrielsson, who's my friend in Sweden, who has a band called Cake on Cake.
Amazing
She sings
band.
a song called Always You, and I basically just pictured her singing it as I was writing the song. It was kind of a song written thinking about what a great Cake on Cake song might sound like, you know. And then there's another song on the record called Spectre, and that song is sung by Sarah White, who is a singer from Virginia, and she's someone I've followed for 20 years. And she's just got a great, beautiful, like country voice, and it was just an amazing thing to have that voice sing those songs. I mean, imagine your favorite singer is singing a song you wrote. Like, it's what could be better?
Yeah, I know. I've experienced that too, and it is a joy.
Yeah.
It's awesome to hear what other people bring to it. Similarly, I feel that other people always enhance my work, and it's just fun to see what happens when you let go of the reins a little bit.
And not just singing. I mean, with the instrumentation as well. I mean,
Yeah.
bringing in the best possible keyboard players and guitar players and horns, and Eric Claxton plays an amazing clarinet part on one of our songs on this new record, and it's just way beyond anything I would be able to do myself.
The twin towers of Chris Cody and Mark McElroy on keys was pretty devastating too.
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah, so it's just, I just feel like so lucky to be able to play with people that really elevate the songs. Otherwise, it would just be me playing cowboy chords on a guitar and warbling.
Yeah, well, that's good too. You can do that some more. Let's talk for a minute about your chocolate making, which is a really unusual way to make a living. How did that start?
Well, I was living on Mohegan Island, as I mentioned earlier, and looking for something I could do year round because it's a tourist economy out there. I just had seasonal work working at a cafe.
You got to wring them tourists like a sponge.
Yeah, I tried. And I was inspired by a brewing company out there that was very successful that our friends were running. And we had some other friends that were doing a coffee roasting business. And I was just trying to think of something I could do year round and sell to the tourists, basically. And came up with the idea of chocolate just as something that I love and a lot of people love. And
do you get high on your own supply?
Occasionally, not as much as you'd think.
Yeah, I know I do. That's really what keeps band members coming to Tiger Saw, is the chocolate now.
I do bring chocolate to practices.
The carrot dangling. So you've also started releasing albums as chocolate bars, which is a really intriguing concept. How has that gone over?
It's been great. It's been so fun to sort of tie my love of music and running a record label and all those ideas into the other business, the day job, which is being a chocolatier. So we have these chocolate bars that also come with download codes for MP3 albums. And it's something that we sell ourselves as Linf Chocolate, and kick back money to the bands for all the ones that we sell, and we wholesale them to the bands so they can have something unique on their merch table as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, we've done about a dozen or so different albums, and a lot of friends and friends of friends have made them, and they just keep coming.
Which is the most delicious album you've made?
Well, that's sort of a trick question because most of the bars are the same flavor.
Okay.
However, Jocelyn McKenzie really pushed to have a dried peach in her bar, and
that's a great one.
It's very good.
Good album, good bar, deadly combination for me. And I am me.
You are you.
Turns out.
Yeah.
So with all these different kinds of music, do you have a sense of where you're heading with the next album? Are there things that you haven't achieved that you want to at this point?
Yeah, I've always got ideas. There's several things that I've sort of started thinking about, and sometimes, I guess most of the time, the end project ends up feeling a little different than what you thought it was going to be.
Sure.
But I'm open to that. I do want to do an album of country cover songs, just like great songs from the vast world of country music that I love. And I want to do an album that sort of works with Dub Narcotic Sound System's Rhythm record, which is something that came out back in the early 2000s as source material.
So using the percussion tracks as kind of a bass?
Yeah, it's an LP that they made that's basically a lot of grooves, I would say. It's bass and drums and organ for the most part. There's a little bit of other stuff in there, some guitar. And just building songs from that foundation. And that's something I've been kind of trying to get off the ground for a few years, and it hasn't quite happened, but I'd still like to make that happen.
Yeah, keep blowing helium into that balloon. Speaking of covers, you also I know have in the can a Castanets cover album.
Yeah.
What's going on with that?
Well, yeah, our dear friend Ray Raposa had a band called Castanets for a long time, and that's somebody that Tiger Saw toured with a lot in the first decade of our existence. And he was a good friend of ours, and he sadly passed away 2 years ago. And I decided that I wanted to make a record in tribute to Ray by covering songs from each of his albums throughout his career. So, Tiger Saw, at the same time as we recorded the Card Tricks for the Lovesick album, also recorded this record called In Everything There's Magic, which is a tribute to Ray, and it's got, I think, 13 or 14 songs of Ray's on there.
That sounds ambitious. 2 records at once?
Yeah, it was a lot.
Whose idea was that?
I don't know. Was it your idea?
I think it was mine.
It sounds like something that you would want to do.
Yeah.
But one of the great things about this particular project was that we also asked many friends, bandmates, and collaborators of Ray's to contribute to this album as well. So we've got a bunch of guest vocalists, guest musicians, production by a whole slew of his friends, and it just sounds so wonderful. So yeah, hopefully that'll see a release in the near future.
Awesome. Looking forward to that. And I know there are a bunch of shows coming up or have come and gone, depending on when this comes out. But with all the touring you've done in 25 years of being a band, what is that arduous task like? And do you still do it as much as you did?
I certainly don't do it as much as I did. I mean, the early years of Tiger Saw had us out for 100, 150 plus dates a year or more, depending on the year. It was just kind of constant. And those were amazing times. I don't know that it'd be possible for us to do it like that anymore.
Yeah. At this age, we don't really want to be sleeping on floors with cat pee on it.
No. No, you and I have had some really awful nights.
Well, we have good stories.
We've got good stories of awful nights, yeah. It's hard. It was a hard thing to do, to basically drive many miles to play a show for very few people and then pass a hat around and then just get like a hat full of change. And then
you can't eat that change.
You can't, and then you'd just be like, where are we sleeping, and just find some like corner of a room somewhere where there's a party going on in the next room.
It's always at the venue and they want to party until 3:30 in the morning because there's a hot band in town.
Yeah. I mean, the shows, for the most part, were great.
Yeah. And
that kind of made it all worth it. But you have to have a lot of patience and comfort kind of goes out the window in a lot of situations. But where we're at now in 2024 is that we play far fewer shows and try to make the shows really special and play venues that are going to sound good and everybody's going to be comfortable.
Wild outfits.
Eric Danz is in the band.
Awesome. Well, we're going to head over to the Blue Couch, and you're going to perform one of your songs for us. Let's head over there.
Thank you. Hi, my name is Dylan Metrano from the band Tiger Saw, and I'm going to show you some of our releases. This is the 2019 album The Featherweight on LP. And this is our last record, which is a collaboration with the band The Reasons Why, Dylan Earl and The Reasons Why, and it's called Wet and Unlucky. This is a split 7-inch with the band Castanets, which was only released in Australia. And we have a song called The Sky in the Dirt that was not released on any of our other albums. Here's the backside of it. And this is our new album, Card Tricks for the Lovesick, which will be available both on compact disc and La Nef chocolate bar. And the chocolate bar comes with the MP3 download of the songs. These are the first two ever Tiger Saw releases, and this was a cassette of In the Bleak Midwinter and Coventry Carol, which are Christmas songs that we made 50 of these tapes for our friends and gave them out as Christmas presents back in 1999. And then right around that same time, we made this album, How to Be Timeless Tonight. So these are hand stamped, and then we've got artwork on here. And we re-recorded a lot of this album for our official debut, Blessed Are the Trials We'll Find, which came out on Kimchi Records. Most of these you can find online and listen to them at our Burst and Bloom Bandcamp site, which you can also access via tigersaw.com. And you can stream our records on Spotify and Apple Music as well.
Alright, Burst and Bloom presents Dylan Metrano of the band Tiger Saw, and he's going to play the song Distance for us. It's not funny, Dylan. It's not funny.
I just got the giggles.
What is this song? What is the song Distance? Tell me about what you're writing about here.
So the song Distance was written in 2006, I believe, and we were working on an album called Tigers on Fire at the time. And there was this band called Ponies in the Surf.
I remember them.
And they were just like the best thing. It was a brother and sister duo. Alex.
Who were also lovers, I heard.
No. Come on.
Okay.
Alex and Camille McGregor. Alex played guitar, like a classical guitar.
I remember.
And Camille and Alex both sang. And it was this sort of like bossa nova sounding band that I just adored so much. And Camille's voice is this really like sweet, delicate, quiet, whispery voice that I just thought was so great. So I wrote this song with the idea that we could do a duet with Camille, or I could do a duet with Camille from Ponies in the Surf, just as a way to like be in that band for a second, you know.
It's swirled up in their slipstream.
Yeah. And it's a song about, it's called Distance, and it's just about how hard it can be to maintain relationships when you're away all the time, and what a long distance relationship might be. And, you know, and at that time, that was probably the peak of my touring a lot.
Yeah, it was your Beth by Kiss, right?
I don't really know that reference, but okay, sure.
Okay.
And, yeah, so it's a simple song about long distance relationships.
Awesome.
And the recorded version has Camille singing on it, and it's pretty wonderful.
Yay.
So it's a song I haven't played in a long time also, so I wanted to do something special for this and dig out kind of an old favorite.
Okay, make it special.
To fall in love with me, is it asking to be lonely? We have no time together, yet I want you only. Are my words a comfort when you can't see my face? Or are they just a reminder we're not in the same place? If we were together, would I hear you say a romance is a flower that blossoms every day? If we were together, would I stay for you and stay my whole life? If you ask me to, I'd stay my
I'd stay my whole life if you'd ask me to.
Yeah. Great stuff, Dylan. Thanks for coming. Thanks for talking. We are Burst and Bloom Presents. Thanks for watching.